People don't look out for communities in these micro ways. I think that the fact that we're using our corner of the world to change how people look at things like basic necessities as well as access to this kind of stuff, yeah, we'll try that here. We're trying to make sure everybody's just like strapped for the winter. We had about 2,000 items in the shop. That includes jackets, coats, pants, shirts, sweaters, hoodies. We're able to probably help around like 200 to 300 families today.
We have over 200 bags of food. Each bag will have a box of pasta. There will be some carrots, onions, potatoes, chicken broth, all the goods. And then after they go through that section, we have little stations where there's free books, free wellness items, everything from ibuprofen to shampoo. And then after that section, people will walk through the winter wear area where there's coats and jackets for kids, for adults, there's shoes, hats, scarves, gloves, everything. Zenat and I, we're so similar, both women of color, both New Yorkers, both come from immigrant families, and both understand, because of our backgrounds, the importance of the network and the importance of interconnectivity. It's just so important that we're able to come together, both of us being in positions of privilege, right now, both of us being able to provide this sort of work, not having to be necessarily on the front lines at hospitals, doing that sort of work, but how can we also contribute to this moment?
We're trying to push the idea that like mutual aid needs to exist all the time and not during a crisis, because when we hit a crisis mode and we think within a crisis mode, we can't think effectively and we kind of have to get there. And so this is us trying to help our community before it gets to an alarming point. When we did the community fridges, there was a huge response to it and people were actively using them, along with filling them. People always think about the idea of giving back, but I don't think it's anything about giving back anymore. I think this like cyclical care for each other, this like reciprocity system where I take care of you, you take care of me, and I think this is just an extension of our love for our community and New York in general. As a person who's lived in this neighborhood long enough, and my dad having a hardware store here and now me graduating to having my own business here, I need to do better than just opening up a business that is for profit and helps only just the people who work here. I want to change circumstances for everyone and set an example for, government agencies or institutions or whoever, that these things kind of work. If there was a fridge outside of every major coffee shop, we would never have a problem because people go to coffee shops every day. And that's the kind of situation that we're in, that we're so lucky to be in, that as a business, as a brick and mortar, people come in and looking for the ways to help.
Nuevayorkinos was started last February, and it's an archival project / oral history project where I'm documenting and preserving New York City Latinx culture and history through family photos and stories. As the city becomes gentrified and communities of color are facing these effects and dealing with stores closing, dealing with being outpriced, and on top of it, 2020 adding an entirely different dynamic to that because of COVID, it was so important to me that I was able to create some sort of space at this moment, albeit digital, that people can see, okay, we've been here, we built this city, and we will continue to be here. Using this act of storytelling as a means of self-liberation, storytelling as a means of self-preservation, and storytelling as a means of decolonization. We are the ones that have the power to tell our stories. And by doing something like this, we are the ones who have the power to enact change in our communities. It's so important because communities of color have been completely underfunded, have been divested from, we don't have funds really invested in our communities. That's something that's been really interesting about 2020 is, talking about, and I say this a lot, like how can we reimagine the world? We reimagine it through mutual aid, we reimagine it through actionable solutions, and we can really truly, by reimagining, we can radically change the world, for the better. And it's all feasible, it's all doable. You just have to have the right people in your corner who want to help amplify and uplift what you're doing, and you have an idea and you just go with it.
There's a sense of legacy and pride that I have to carry, and I want to because it's my story. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for immigrants working hard. And I'm thinking about my parents, I'm thinking about people who look like me, people who work in the shop. We're all immigrants and we all have this one story that we're all marginalized, and we're working against this to make sure that we have fruitful futures. Hopefully I have the tools to pass on the baton next to someone else who wants to do just as bad as I did.